Good day, guys. So today I'll be doing part two of this video. So basically, in the first one, we valued this inventory using the first in, first out and the periodic inventory system. But with this one, we're gonna basically be doing it like using the weighted average and the perpetual inventory system. So let's get into it. I'm gonna be a little bit quick with this one because we already read through the question in part one. So with this one, I'm just gonna immediately start doing the calculations to show you guys the difference between the periodic and the first in, first out and the weighted average. So let's get into it. I'm gonna be a little bit quick with this one so that I don't take too much of your time. So let's get into it. So this one, basically, we're gonna be calculating the same thing, the closing balance of inventory, just on the different systems. So this one is gonna be the A phone. And it's gonna be the S phone and the stationery. Remember, guys, the stationery was given, so it's gonna be the same balance. So here's where the balance is gonna be. So let me quickly do the calculations. A phone. Remember with this one, guys, we're using the picture and the weighted average. The opening balance and purchases. Opening balance, I think it's gonna be 30 units. 30 times 5,000, which is gonna be 150. Yeah, 150,000. So the purchase is gonna be basically bought 50,000 units multiplied by, I think we bought them for 5,000 each. It was 250. 1, 2, 3. And we also had, I think, import duties, which remember 2/3 were claimable, so it's gonna be 5,000. It was 15,000 times the third. Let's write it here. Those of you who watched the first one. But guys, first watch the first one so that some of these things make sense. Then Korea, because I don't wanna like do the same thing, like end up wasting your time by being redundant. So I'm gonna go like very quickly through this one. So this was 255 600. The purchases here was 255. Let's choose the handwriting, guys. This your people who are learning to PCA, so your handwriting is not that important. So 150, 123 plus 255 600. It's gonna be 405 600 divided by the total number of inventory, which is gonna be 80. The 50 plus the 30, and it's gonna give us 5070. So let me quickly move on to the S phones. S phones. The opening balance was 50 phones times 4,000, which gave us 200,000. Remember with this one, pertaining to the purchases, there were no import duties because they were claimable. And we bought 40 units times 3,800, which gave us a total of 152, 123. And here we only incurred the courier costs. was Korea. There were, it was 400. So it's gonna be 152 400. Okay, this is it. So total purchase will be 152 400. And the total here for total S phones, it's gonna be 352 400. Then we're gonna have to divide this by how many units did we, how many total units were there? I think it's 90 because it's 50 plus 40. Then it's gonna be 352 400 divided by 90. It's gonna be 391. I'm just gonna round it up and say 16. So this is the total value of the S phones, and this one here is the total value of the A phones. So here, when we're calculating the closing balance, we're just gonna say, I'm just gonna put it here to the side so you guys can see. So the closing balances were, it was 30 and 60. 30 and 60. 60 times, I think 5070. Just move the screen a bit. 5070. Was 60 units. Remember, with the weighted average, we get the total value. It was 5070. And here we had, I think, 30 left times. Yeah, it was 30. So it's going to be 3916. So when we multiply the 60 times multiplied by the, remember, this is why I got my values, guys. See the total balances, 3916 for the S phones and 5070 for the A phones. So it's going to be 30 times 3916. It's going to be 117480. And for the other one, it's going to be, for the A phone, it's going to be 60 times 5070, which is 304 200. So when we add all of this up together, it's gonna be 7480 plus 520. It's gonna give us 422 200. So as you can see, with the weighted average, we calculate the total value of our stock that is on hand after purchases, and we divide that with the total amount of units on hand, from including the opening balance plus the purchases. Then we divide it together, then we get a value, then that value will be the value attached to the stock. So basically, this is the difference between the perpetual, I mean the first in, first out, and the weighted average. That's the main difference. So remember, with the first in, first out, we basically dispose the units that were on hand first, then the ones we purchased later. But with the weighted average, we do not, we basically just sell the units without accounting for which ones were first or last. And when in terms of the cost, for first in, first out, the cost will be the individual cost of the units when they were purchased. So we'll dispose them at that value. We won't aggregate or weight the total value of the units. But with weighted average, we'll get one cost for all the stock, whether opening or purchase, we'll get one value for all of them. So with this one, it tends to be a bit higher because of the fact that, I mean, it's like you bought some inventory for less, but right now you're valuing it for more, because like maybe the stock you bought this year was much more expensive than the one you bought last year. So the total value will tend to be up for your stock. So this is the thing. This is it, guys. So this is the end of the video. First watch part one so that this one can make much more sense, because with this one we went through it a bit quickly in order to save time, because you don't want to waste your time because you have to study, and I wanted it to go a bit faster. So first watch the first one, then this one will make more sense because I didn't even read the required. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Thank you very much. Hope to see you next time.